For thousands of years, people had buried their dead in communal graves. Then around 4,500 years ago, something changed in that time-honoured ritual, and people began to be buried in individual graves, something which seems much more familiar to us today. This is Culduthel Man. He was discovered in 1975, and he had been buried in the new way.
This is very well preserved, considering this is a 4,000-year-old skeleton.
His skeleton is curated by Alison Sheridan. In his grave, archaeologists found a beaker, a distinctive clay pot that was the symbol of this new burial style. And the question that has perplexed archaeologists for 150 years is how that beaker culture spread so far so quickly. Now a team of archaeologists is using cutting-edge science to work that out. They want to know if it was just the ideas that travelled, or if the people did too. Janet Montgomery and Jane Evans are analysing the isotopic signatures of beaker skeletons like Culduthel Man to find out where they lived and whether they moved during their lifetimes. To do that, they must painstakingly extract some tooth enamel from each Bronze Age individual. Chemicals in each sample tell us where that person grew up. We know where they were then buried, so we can tell if someone moved during their lifetime. The project has been 5 years in the making. It's the biggest ever survey of our prehistoric ancestors, and Culduthel Man is the latest to join it. His teeth were in such poor condition that Janet had to use a different technique to extract the sample.
These teeth have got almost no enamel remaining on them. So what I did, instead of slicing the tooth up, I had to pick off very carefully with forceps small fragments of the enamel.
Jane managed to obtain a sample, but once she got the results, she was convinced there had been a mistake.
It was only after I got the enamel results in triplicate that I was convinced and happy enough with the result to tell everybody else what we'd got. The isotope composition that his teeth gave suggested that he came from an area of this type of rock. This area of Antrim, and it's the Antrim basalts.
So you think he's Irish?
That is the most likely place for him to have come from.
How interesting.
Yeah. And so he managed to make it from his childhood site here to his burial site up and around here.
So around 4,000 years ago, Culduthel Man moved 300 miles across the seas from his Irish home to his Scottish grave.